Hi, my name is Abria Morales, and I'll be doing my presentation on the importance of delegation. So, what is delegation? If a nurse is too busy and does not have time to do or complete a task like put in a Foley catheter or maybe do wound care, she can pass it on to a patient care technician. She can say, hey, I don't have time to do this right now. Do you mind going to do this wound? Do you mind going to change this wound? Do you mind go empty this bag? But she cannot do it without following the proper steps to that, which I'll explain later. We have delegation because there will never be a time a nurse does not have to have another hand. The extra hand is always good to have, and that can give the patient care technician a sign of respect from the nurse because she's trusting you with her patient and you're under her name. Who can delegate? We can have a vocational nurse, licensed or registered nurse to delegate any patient care technician. It can be from wound down to urinal, down to feeding tubes, whatever it may be. She can tell you as long as she is licensed. She is accountable for you just the same as when you were just a regular nurse's aide and you were still under an RN. There's always an RN above you unless you're the RN yourself. We have rights of delegation. There are 5 that the nurse must go by. A patient care technician must be taught. She cannot ask you to do any procedure for her or task if you haven't been taught. If you don't know it, how can you do it? Whatever it may be, it cannot be done frequently. Like if there's a wound that you have to constantly change more than 3 days or more than 30 minutes, she'll have to do it herself because that's putting more pressure on you, and you may get it right the first time, but the second time it might not be as good. A patient response or outcome has to be predictable. She knows you're going to change a wound. She knows how the wound must look. She knows that it's going to be looking one certain way, not, color-coded or any kind of way that you wouldn't do a wound. You have to have the same or similar results as a nurse. As I said before, she has to trust you. She has to put her confidence in you and know that you can do this wound as good as her or even better. And not only a wound, it could be, any procedure that she may need you to do. You have to be the nurse has to be certain that it's not against the law. She can't ask you to go inflate a cuff or ask you to go and do something illegal that you haven't been practiced yet. And if you yourself know that you can't or you haven't been practiced to do that, you can tell her, and that would be that would be a way that you could refuse that delegation. As I was saying, that could be a way that you could refuse a delegation. Another way is if you think that's unsafe for the patient, or you feel like, I haven't been taught this, or I don't know how to insert a Foley catheter as well as maybe you can teach me or you can see how I do it, but if I don't feel ready or that I should do it, that's a way that you can inform the nurse to let her know. You cannot refuse any delegation because you do not want to or because it's unpleasant. Whether it's a wound, urinary bag, whatever it may be, everything we do has a smell. And if you are not used to smells, then this is not your form of practice because you will use all those senses in your nose. Because in person, those wounds do come heavy, and you can't just say, oh, I don't like to do pressure ulcers. I don't want to change that wound. That smell, oh, it's too deep. I have to pack it too deep. I don't want to do that. You can't do that, and she won't let you do that because that's the part of being a nurse, so you have to be strong. When completing an assignment, you always have to verbally inform your nurse of anything that you've done, even if it's just a simple task. Like, hey, I inserted this wound, and afterwards he said it tingled a little bit. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe it got infected. Maybe it touched something. You can let her know that. Never neglect reporting to your nurse. Do you guys have any questions? No? Okay.